Hi everybody, this is Raman Vishwanathan. I am working for the Cisco's NGFW team. I'm going to quickly show you how to register a firepower threat defense device with an FMC. So over here I have an FMC um, and this is the FMC UI what you see. As soon as you log on into the FMC, you're going to see this UI. The first and foremost thing that is required to register a firepower threat defense is you must have smart license enabled on the FMC. If you go to systems, license and click on smart license, you will see the option to register a smart license or enable an evaluation version of smart license. In this FMC you don't see it because the smart license is already registered in this FMC. So let's go ahead and see how to register a device. So for this demo, I want to show you how to register a device specifically using REST APIs that were developed for the FMC. So one of the best way to take a look at what are all the REST APIs supported on the FMC is go through the API Explorer that comes with the FMC. The API Explorer's URL is over here. So it's basically the FMC's host name followed by API/API Explorer. The first and foremost thing to register any device is you need to have an access policy. On the API Explorer, the left shows you what are all the feature sets for which the REST API is supported. If you go to policy and you have the URL for access policy over here, and you can click on get call and then click here once again to actually send the REST API on the FMC. These make changes. This is a documentation plus sandbox. So when you click on when you do a get operation, it actually does a get operation on the FMC. So these are all the access policies on the FMC that you see. So if you click on FMC and go to policy and say access control, you will see all these policies that are created over here come up over here. So I need to note the ID of one of the access policy. Let me take access policy 100 for my example. So I am going to take this one. I need to note the ID. Over here. So now let's go to the device page. In the device page, click on the device records URL. To register a device, you need to do a post operation. So when you click on post operation, you will see on the right side, you will see a place where you can paste the body that is required to be sent along with the post. For this example, for this example, in fact, all REST APIs on FMC uses JSON requests, JSON as the request body. So so there are two examples of how to register a device. This first example shows how to register a NGIPS device. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to skip that and I'm going to show you how to register a firepower threat defense device. The only difference is that the license caps have different texts, but the rest of the procedure is exactly the same. So I'm going to use this JSON body, this example. So I'm going to take this example in my text editor. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Firepower NGFW. host name is going to be the IP address or the host name of the FTD. So in this case, it's going to be 10.10.20.163. NAT ID is optional. If your FTD is behind or if your device is behind a NAT, you might need to provide a NAT ID. In this case, both my FMC and FTD are on the same subnet, so I am skipping NAT ID for now. And registration key is a text, alphanumeric text of any text value that needs to be consistent of what you used on device as well as on the FMC. So I'm going to use SF, and I'm going to have all these licenses enabled. Note that if you want to register an FTD, you better have base license always enabled. So make sure you have base selected always when added always when you register an FTD device. If you don't add the base license, you cannot deploy an access policy on this device. So to register an access policy, you must have the base license. Now I'm going to take the access policies ID and supply it here. So the JSON body required for device registration is ready. But before jumping into device registration, we need to set up the device. I tell the device that this is your FMC. So we go into the console of the device. This is my device console. So I'm going to see if there are any managers already available on this device. There are no managers on this device. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a manager. Sorry, 10.10.20.161, and the registration key is SF. I'm going to give SF registration key. Your device registration is not an immediate process, so it is going to take some time to register a device, in the sense that once you do this process on the device and once you go and do the REST API call, the device registration needs to actually communicate with the device and then do a bunch of pre-processing and post-processing. So once both of these processing completes, only then the device gets registered. So in order to know whether the device gets registered or not, you will not know unless you'll not know until after some time. So what we do is, when you do a post of a device using this URL, so I'm going to copy this JSON body. I'm going to put it into this request body section over here. So when you do a post of this URL into this URL, you're going to get a response called 202, which says that, hey, your device registration body is accepted, but I'm going to take my time to see whether this device is going to be registered or not. By the way, the post is going to give you a response body, which is going to include something called as a task ID. You can use the task ID to poll and see whether the device gets registered or not. Okay, so let's do a post. So if you see the response info, the status code is 202, which means that the device registration is accepted. But the actual device registration, whether what's happening to it, is available in this task ID. So you can copy this task ID and go to the status URL status feature, where you can get the job statuses. Do a get and then click on this one. Do a get to see what's going on. So the task status says that the device registration is going on. So you can pretty much see the same status here, which says what's going on here. So the device registration has started. So if you go into the devices page, you can actually see the device registration going on. So apparently the device registration has been completed. Now we are going into the policy deployment section. So this is how you register a device. So let's wait for the device to be deployed. Once the device is deployed, you will see a green color checkbox as you see over here. This is one of the examples of REST API feature which I have shown you today. Um, there are other ways of doing the REST API call. Um, there are popular tools like Postman, and there are other REST clients which come in handy in order which will help you, you know, to do these REST calls so that some of these steps can be automated as you want. So I'm going to stop my demo here. Thank you for listening to me.